pick.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, we're seeing that one come through for Kara. No real surprise. Kara really likes this champion. So seeing him lock it in is just fine. On the other side, we're going to see an Ashe Seraphine immediately go in response here for EDG.
Well, I would imagine a Lucian Milio probably going to be after this. I think super comfortable for teams in the LPL recently. You get that cleanse away from the CC. After about level 3 onwards, you can look for all-ins. It feels great. But what are we picking into the Cassiopeia? Maybe an Anivia. Something that's got some range, because Cass has super risen up in priority recently, as it's an Annie lock-in pretty early for Tsinya. And remember, this is something that he picked earlier with EDG in his first series in Game 1 and found some success on it. So going back to some comfort.
Yeah, I've noticed it struggle a little bit in lane against the Cassiopeia, so clearly picking for the team a little bit here. EDG has gone with a very team-oriented composition. One thing to note is that Xiaohao 0-4 on this Seraphine, so we'll see if he can go and grab his first win. I'm sorry, Zhuo. If he can go grab his first win on this champion. Meanwhile, second half of bans, Jarvan getting banned out. No surprise there with such immobile champions over on the side of EDG. You can't let that one go through. But I am very worried for EDG here just because of what NIP has put together. You just have this raw damage. You have the ability with the Breath of Life to cleanse any CC. They're going to have to be really on top of stacking their CC and layering it properly.
Yeah, there is potential for that. And, NIP's draft is pretty close ranged. The Lucian, the Cass, and he's pretty close range too. But with the Ashe Seraphine, you can fight from range. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Jace if we're able to get counter pick. NIP, I believe, has first pick selection, so EDG's on counter pick, so they have a potential to get a Jace last with a jungle pickup here. Pantheon is available, but globally, it's been kind of falling off in terms of actually finding value, especially into comps like NIPs, where you've got the cleanse. Lucian loves to fight you in your face, and Cass kind of loves the same thing. So Pantheon is an option, but I'm not sure if it's the best option. Lee Sin, pretty tough into the Cass, but a ton of fun.
Yep, something that is in the back pocket of Xiaohao. We'll see what he's able to do on it. It really fits the bill of what he likes to do early and go and leverage his bot lane strength, which you'll get early on, but usually on the pushback, it'll go toward Lucian Milio. But Xiaohao will be able to use that opportunity to try to do something to disrupt Guwon on the other side, who's currently hovering the Skarner, which I really like here. I think that you just get a little bit of extra lockdown. Nobody can escape the miasma with any movement abilities. You don't have any movement abilities outside of Lee Sin, so you just pluck them and bring them back to your team, and it's GG's.
I mean, the smartest pick here for Hoya is probably a tank. I'm not a huge fan of the Jace blind. I think that ZDZ can easily go Yorick, Sion, Cassante, and be completely fine. It does take it away from EDG having that, carry top lane with a bunch of range. But this matchup we've seen, it's a bit 50-50. We've seen Jaces get leads in the early game, but then you can't really kill the Sion. The Sion outscales you in terms of actual team value. EDG, late game, like super late game, don't have a ton of damage. It's very bursty with a bit of consistent follow-up from the Ashe. NIP, however, do have a pretty good late game. They've got the Cass, they've got this big tank in Skarner. Jace scales well enough, especially with the range. And I think Lucian Milio, while typically more of a mid-game threat, does still scale fairly well, especially with the cleanse. I think that EDG need to use this mid-jungle duo really aggressively throughout the early game. I think that if Xiaohao and Xinyan can get off to a great start, find some early kills, the Annie Lee Sin kind of functions like a Wukong Annie, where the Annie is just a support, roaming around with the jungler, getting the stuns off and trying to give his jungler kills. But if NIP can, weather that early game, their late game's pretty scary.
No doubt about it. They are going to be able to have the damage to kind of chew through this Scion with your Lucian, with your Cassiopeia. I think that Jace is a vital part of this composition because you've got a lot of squishy champions outside that Scion. If you're able to land these Shock Blasts, it's going to be a big problem. I want to see NIP get to these objectives first. I want to see them set their feet a little bit and force EDG to walk their way in, because one of the big things that they've had problems with is fighting around these dragons, that they're positioning around it, specifically Leave, but at times we've seen the entire team be disconnected. If I'm an IP, I've seen that on tape, and I really want to exploit that. Jay Beto, we're getting on to Summoner's Rift for Game 1 of the first best-of-5 series of the day. The winner will be moving on to the bracket stage. The loser will be going to Nirvana, and you can immediately make your point, because we don't have any Gyos. We're at home.
We do. I'm sending them from my heart towards these teams. So
here, you want to go? You want to go? Pick a team.
Okay. I like the. I'm gonna pretend to be the JDG. You know, EDG
Gio.
NIP.
Here, I got it. NIP. Gio.
All right.
Excellent.
I hope they heard. I'm not that far away.
No, you're not. You were voted most likely member of the LPL English crew to show up randomly and be spotted in the crowd. Having an initial back and forth here. We'll get the heal out of Zhuo just to keep everybody upright and feeling good. So hard to try to stick damage on Emilio lane. Obviously, they're only level 1 right now, but as those levels go up, it's going to be harder and harder to move away. Assum and Zhuo.
Yeah, I want to talk about the new patch, because we've undergone a patch. We're on 2610. A couple of things you can immediately see by that. The Lee Sin priority. I actually have it right here. Let me tell you exactly what he got changed. So it's the... his shield got reduced, but he has a lower cooldown at all ranks, and he gets a shield jumping to minions and wards now, and the E... the body continues to fly, even if they die to the kick. So that's really nice. And another thing that we can immediately see is the double Doran's bow start. Extra AD from 6 to 8. Both AD carries going the Doran's bow. I think it's like, it makes the lane a lot more vulnerable because you don't have that extra health. It's a lot more fighting. It also allows you to go double adaptive instead of the attack speed on your runes, if you want, and get a little bit more damage that way. But massive change, probably not for any of our viewers at home, but for pro play specifically, is the minion aggro change. We don't have a video. It's a bit tough to find exactly how to show this off, but essentially last patch, you used to be able to auto, especially if you're a ranged minion, if you're a ranged champion, the back creeps, and it would pull them forwards and hit one minion of yours. So you could essentially set up a push towards yourself. That's been removed. You can no longer pull minion aggro by autoing a minion. It has to be an enemy champion. So, not a lot of actual impact towards... Hold on.
Whoa, hang on. Xiaohao got on top of Care. Care's an auto away from dying. The
What?
flash,
What?
and he got the kill. Guwon was a little late to the party. Xiaohao did connect the Q, but he will be able to ward hop over the wall. I mean, Guwon was in position, but was like, well, Sinyan's not walking up, so everything's fine, and everything was not fine.
I have no idea what we are doing in mid. I was very sure that was not going to be a kill, maybe a flash burn, but
Same.
Care kind of just lets it happen.
And he immediately just goes back. He TPs in and he said, okay, young buck, I'm just going to keep hitting you with Twin Fangs. Keep calling your jungler over.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty expensive. Lost the TP. Sinyan was able to get a base off and just walk back to lane. Care also lost flash, so is up a decent chunk of XP. That should be alleviated by collecting this wave. Yeah, not the best start to this game for NIP, as you die very early on to the Lee Sin and you lose your flash. One thing that we've been seeing across the world actually about these Lee Sins is it almost feels like people have forgotten that Lee Sin early game is really, really scary, and he can almost walk in against anyone and just fight you to the death, especially the meta junglers. And he just does that in this game too. It's been happening a lot. It happens in this game, and this can turn into a really vicious snowball where Lee Sin's up 300, he invades you again, now he's up 600. Good trade from Awesome and the Lucia Milio. They've hit that level 3 spot, so they're happy to get this pushback going.
Okay, dashing in, getting another good chunk on leave, and now Guwon is in the perfect position here. He has been spotted out by that Hawk shot. He'll going to get used again, but he should be able to at least cause a ruckus in this 2v1. We'll at least keep them away from the turret for the moment. So Awesome will be able to cash in on that turret candy and be able to shove that entire wave in. Now, with all this priority here, we see Guwon pinging his own jungle, but EDG pinging the dragon. Looks like NIP will elect to not start up that dragon. You want to get Guwon to level 6 right away, start impaling some targets.
Yep. Gotta be careful. Care has no flash, as Xiaohao hovers just out of vision, but well, looks like it might just be the top scuttler. This will give upgraded smite and level 6 over to Xiaohao. Guwon is pretty significantly far behind that. So if NIP do go towards the dragon now, Xiaohao will have this upgraded smite plus the level 6 as it just ticks over there. TP back in from Xinyan as well with the movement speed boots. So at this fight right now, EDG are much stronger.
Yep, and Garrett doesn't have TP, so he's got to slither his way back to the lane with Guwon already backing. So there could be an opportunity for EDG to decide to do Dragon if they want. Gonna go and see them clear out a little bit of vision. Xiaohao is gonna be very well spotted on multiple wards for the moment. His bot lane is gonna move over, gonna clear out that ward, start this up. With the entire top side available for Guwon and him not at level 6, this does mean that he is just going to take that. So EDG having a nice early grip on this game, usually through Xiaohao.
Did get the upgraded smite, Guwon, but not level 6. Again, walking into a Lee Sin, pretty scary, especially when your bot lane not in a great position to walk in themselves. Damage here from the bot lane of EDG. Xiaohao's here.
Good route. Got the heal out of Zhuo. We'll see if there's any potential dive opportunity. Leave and Zhuo are very far away from level 6, and
he's gone.
Smart ward there, but Xiaohao is already out of there. So right now, again, this early advantage to EDG. We have a minute until these grubs come up. I'm really looking for NIP to want to fight around that, mostly because shovel some gold into Hoya, give him some side lane pressure, let him continue to do his thing. This guy has proven that he can deal damage in critical moments when his team needs him to, and he's going to need it this game with Care not doing so hot to start out early, and with Awesome and Zhuo going to need, or Awesome specifically, going to need a little bit of time.
I think that it might be a little scary going for the grubs against the Lee Sin Annie at this point in the game. Maybe you look for a cross map. The problem is really good wards on blue side down the bottom. Well, there was. There's a pink ward in there. You can see them now. So Guwon has been spotted. He was going for the cross map as the grubs were spawning, but he's spotted on the ward.
He's going to run it, leave, forces the flash out, and that means the impale. AZZ Pickings with the culling on top of it. It's Zhuo who ends up nabbing the kill. The Mega Fire kick, it keeps Xiaohao away, so it is a kill for NIP, but not on who you wanted.
Yeah, I think an expected cross map, but I did not expect that Guwon was going to walk over the ward and EDG were just going to let it happen, flash late. I don't really understand. That felt like a very winning position from EDG. They probably win the 2v2 top side. Maybe Hoya can make a difference, but the grubs should be EDG's, or at least the positioning. So Guwon has to make a play bot side, but both entrances to bot side are warded. One's by a normal ward, the other by that pink. It still hasn't been removed. Great ward spot. But because it's warded, you shouldn't be able to do that. But Guwon, apparently he's just invulnerable to wards. He gets over, leaves still flashes, and still dies. But should be grubs over to EDG. At least one.
Yeah, it's tough in that scenario because you've already realized that, like, all right, well, I flashed the non-ultimate ability, and now I'm close enough to get impaled. Like, what do you do at that point? I think you just kind of have to hold that flash. And another game, another criticism of the flash of the AD carry for EDG. We'll see if that becomes relevant in a later fight. These grubs going over to EDG, as mentioned, after they got on the map quickly for that one. So a big denial of Hoya. We have 2 minutes until the next dragon is up, and still awaiting Care to get that Rod of Ages. He's got his tier, he's got his catalyst, but that's about it, bud. That's, you know, catalyst is all fine and dandy if you're trying to cast Dazzling Aurora and Riftbound, but not so great. 9.5 minutes into the game.
Good news for NIP. They do still have the gold lead, be that quite small. And it is only one member with a gold lead on EDG's side. Guwon is coming up for the hover as Xiaohao was spotted by a ward.
Well, whether this is happening, Guwon might try to bite off a little bit more than he could chew because guess who's coming? It's Leave and Zhuo. So Xiaohao says, I want this fight. We'll serve him up on a silver platter. Now Leave the arrow with the predicted flash. And there's the encore on top of it with the teammates to extend it. It's Leave getting a kill and now Hoya is stuck. He'll flash away. Desperately trying to get some help from the turret, trying to stay alive, but he gets rooted under the turret. Everybody's tanking it perfectly, and it's a double kill for Leave.
All right, well, I was talking about the good news for NIP. The newspaper got wet, and it tore up, and I only can read the news about EDG. And the news is, Xiaohao's pretty good on this Lee Sin. Nice kick flash, great. Turn onto Guwon. Also Leave with a really nice arrow that predicted Guwon's flash over the wall. And nice encore laid from Zhuo to get those kills. Good execution on the dive afterwards as well. It's just a spree of successes for EDG. NIP not too far behind, but on these first items, on these second items, EDG with a Lee Sin, Annie, and this Ashe Seraphine, really scary. Awesome's just dead.
Awesome's up way too far. Xiaohao's right on top of him. You're in a 3v1, bud. You ain't living through that. Xiaohao gets his second kill of the game. EDG up 4 kills to 1. 15 seconds before the Dragon. They are running over NIP in this early game.
Yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about. Everyone just has forgotten, it seems. Nice miss. How good Lee Sin is in the early game. He's just kind of allowed to do this, and when you let him, he builds up a 1k gold lead. He has an early Sundered Sky. That means he's even more sustainable than he was with the movement and the shield beforehand. And now EDG looking at 2 Drakes. There's a TV in here from Care. That
this is an
a
aggressive
dead
TP.
snake.
Nobody's around. Care, what are we doing, bud? He's dead. Leave will pick up kill number 3, and it's a freebie for EDG.
Do you smell that, Yanni? Smells like IG. No, that
smells
can't
like
be.
burnt
It can't be.
toast.
Yeah. Someone's
I don't know
cooking
what
a bit
they
too
were
hard.
cooking. Listen, what kind of snake is that? Because I know that you live down under and you've got experience with snakes.
Yeah. That's actually my favorite kind of snake. A dead one.
Jesus. We don't need to necessarily talk about animal cruelty on the broadcast.
Well, okay. It could have been roadkill. That happens all the time.
Okay, yeah, that's okay.
It was an accident. And maybe that's what we're going to have to say that TP was. Because I don't understand the idea at all.
Yeah, they not on the same page are NIP. And this is something that we said would happen with EDG, right? Is that this is a team that sometimes will show up and it'll be like, oh man, this is great. They're really in sync. And sometimes they're just not quite linked up together. We've seen NIP be a little inconsistent, but usually all together. And it just feels like they've Freaky Friday'd themselves here on a Sunday morning for me. As Hoya lied in wait. Here comes Guwon, but we're just going to clear out wards, and Zhuo and Leave will walk away. So NIP can't find anything right.
I think I was going to get... Oh, just TV bot. All right. I mean, it has the Serpent's Fang. I don't know how great this is going to be into the Scion. I get the shielding from Scion can be really egregious and quite frustrating to play against, but I don't know. I'm really not a fan of the lethality Jace into the Scion idea. It doesn't really do a whole lot. Nice hover here from Xiaohao. We're entering this mid-game. 2 dragons for EDG. They're in a great spot to just continue getting some items, but they don't even need to stop. 1k lead on Xiaohao, 1k lead on Leave. And Annie has been really filling this second support role in the meta recently, where you have flash if you need it to engage further, but for the most part, you just look for a stun on a target, and your carries that are the Ashe and the Lee Sin in this game do most of the work for you. Again, Lee Sin doesn't scale well. It's all impacted by your mechanical skill rather than how much damage a Lee Sin can do. That will fall off. Ashe and Scion, not too bad, but the later the game goes, Guwon's going to get some items. He's going to be able to tank Annie. He's going to be able to tank the Ashe stuns. Hoya's going to do plenty of damage, like you said, just not to Scion. And the Cassiopeia, when she gets this upgraded rower and the tier finish stacking, will have a ton of time to kind of run around the fight, deny Lee Sin's angles, and do a ton of damage, maybe with a nice Petrifying Gaze, but we're a while away from that, Yanni, and right now EDG have all the driving.
Yeah, EDG are one good fight away from really putting this game out of reach. We've got Herald up. Guwon gonna walk in, take a cue to the face. He's very tanky, so he doesn't really have to worry too much. Here comes Hoya coming down, but he's gonna be spotted out by Xiaohao. Xiaohao does a lot of damage. Guwon gonna try to drive his way through. The ward hop is there. He's able to hop over the wall. A little worse for wear, and he'll end starting up the Rift Herald, so we'll see if NIP want another bite of the apple if they want to find their way in. ZDZ will be frontlining, but you see those shock blasts that we talked about going to be impactful. Leaving Zhuo already taking a decent amount of damage, but ZDZ trying to frontline. Care on the way. They just don't have any damage to put into this Scion right now. Herald's down about 2,000 HP. Guwon's not going to be able to get in. It's secured, and now they're going to go all in on Guwon. And when he's the only one there, he's forced to flash away. Big stun by Xinyan, but Guwon and Care will be able to walk away. A whole lot used, whole lot of nothing for NIP, but the objective secured for EDG.
Yep. I'm not quite sure when Xinyan used the Tivers. He was walking into the fight with it, like already half used, so maybe used it on the wave to help clear and then get there, so didn't have the Tiber stun, but didn't really matter. Like you mentioned, ZDZ just way too tanky. It is a bit unfortunate for EDG. I think they jumped the gun a little bit too hard on the kill on Guwon. They layered the CC in the bad way, where it overlaps and you don't fully get the long duration, so Guwon able to get out, especially with the item that I can't pronounce as passive. But it's another win for EDG. They get the Herald, they push NIP out, and I really think it's going to be a decent while before NIP can actually kill this Scion, before they can actually do enough consistent damage to, one, not die to Annie if you're Guwon, and two, get through the Scion, get through the rest of EDG. But 30 seconds on Soul Point, you don't have that long.
You could always let it go. That is a bit of a worry. You give up this third dragon, but NIP are far away from their 2-item spikes, especially when you've got double tier items on your solo laners. You really need them to go pick those up. Hoya is going to stay in range to be able to collect the local gold from that turret. It's an extra 50 in the pocket, so not too shabby there. A small gold lead for himself. EG looking like they're going to start with the dragon. Not going to even have to use the Rift Herald, so they can save that one for later. Do some dastardly things to NIP.
Could even be a Combat Herald as NIP walk in here. Cassiopeia has TP, would need to use it kind of right now to get in, but here it comes.
Alright, awesome dashing in. Cullen gonna go down. Xiaohao gonna walk at him menacingly and force him away. Here comes Kara, but better of a TP than last time. Also forced to flash away, but still got caught. Guwon's in the middle of a lot of members. Hoya off to the side, on top of Leave while Guwon's trying to tank, but Hoya is in a bit of a bad way right here. He managed to drop the hammer and get the kill, but EDG see a better deal by taking out the jungler. Now Zhuo gonna look, but the TP gonna be used. Hoya manages to escape. It's a 1-for-1 in the end, but EDG on Soul Point.
Alright, not too bad from NIP in terms of living. Awesome did have to use his flash to get away from the CC chain that EDG have. Feels almost like the Milio cleanse isn't enough. You know, you cleanse one thing, there's so many more that are coming at you directly after. Bit of a late TP, I feel, from Care. Maybe just really didn't want to get it cancelled on the top side, but didn't really rock up in time to have an impact on the fight. And you can't out-secure Lee Sin even if you were here. So the smite is done. Culling doesn't really get a whole lot. Care is here late, and then you can see Awesome gets cleansed, forced to flash away, still gets hit, but just manages to get away. And Hoya goes for the sacrifice play. He knows no matter what, he's dead here, even if he gets this kill. But because Guwon sacrifices himself yet again, he doesn't die. He's able to go TP himself out. So again, Guwon laying his body down on the line for his team.
Xinyan having an idea that some nefarious things are happening, so they're going to send 2 up there. There's the flash kick. Awesome served up on a silver platter, rooted in place with nowhere to go. Xiaohao wants a little bit more. Doesn't look like he'll find it against the very tanky Guwon, but a great play from the EDG jungler in a game full of them.
I looked away for half a second and Awesome was dead. Nice kick flash from Xiaohao. The Herald in mid will do a good job here, and Hoya.
Oh, beautiful. They laid the trap. Xinyan got the stun, but he cannot survive the 2v1. Lee kill on the other side. Now Xiaohao is going to ride the Herald all the way over to this top side. Doesn't look like he'll be able to find anybody to cut them off.
Yep. Nice try. Maybe a hawk shot to spot their bases, but doesn't look like anything will come with that. Yeah, good catch onto Assum. No, Herald, don't die, no. Who's going to get the gold? Hold on. Plus, there it is, plus 25. Nice, good job, Assum.
That really needs to be plus 50. It really needs to be. He
came back and he got it.
Yeah, when things are not looking so hot for the NIP AD carry, the spot lane that's been so good throughout the split. Struggling a little bit, especially in a matchup where it's rough early but comes back a little bit later. A couple of mistakes made by him put him in an unenviable position of down about 2,000 gold to an Ashe. It's so hard to come back at that point in time. 2 minutes until the next dragon is up, but NIP might be looking for a play already as Guwon and Hoya are here. EDG will fade toward the top side because of their lack of vision bottom.
No flash available on leave, so not even a possibility to force it. Probably a little bit over the time we have on Dragon. Oh, nice.
There's the flash. Nice sidestep there by Leave. Forces out the Breath of Life from Zhuo on the root as well from Zhuo. Big cooldowns used.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan. I think that play went super backwards. It looked almost like Guwon was trying to hit both Leave and Zhuo. When he could have just hit Leave because Leave has no flash. I know Zhuo doesn't either, but Zhuo is nowhere near as important. And it's like, yeah, you're looking for a pick. Even if you got that pick, could you have done Baron? I feel like it's a bit risky. But now, you've used flash on Guwon. His ult's down for another, you know, let's say 30 seconds, 45 seconds. And Zhuo's ult's down, and that will absolutely not be up before this dragon is. So, you've used significant tools in trying to find a pick that probably wasn't going to result in anything anyway. And now you're a ton weaker around this soul dragon.
You can really start to feel the desperation of NIP, really looking to make that play. You do have double tier items for the side of NIP, so they've finally gotten there. You got a 10 stack Rod of Ages for care. Looks like they might look for a play right now. They may as well attack Guwon, dump all your damage into him, force him away. Really about half HP. Neon looking for a flank, but to get spotted out. So EDG looking healthy right now. 20 seconds until this dragon is up. Would be a Cloud Soul for them. You get some benefits with it. Zhuo and Leave get some big movement speed boosts. Obviously, the cooldown reduction going to be huge as well.
Yep. Guwon's already about half HP. He's the only tank, the only one who can face check this Annie. Anyone else just gets completely one-shot at this point in the game. And
well,
he kind of does
face check the Annie. But guess what? He might get one shot. That Encore is going to go wide. Guwon will stay alive. Maybe an opportunity for NIP to turn, but Guwon not feeling so hot right now. Is EDG going to try to front line? Will drop the ultimate down. Is going to manage to knock into Assum, dealing some good damage there, but they're just playing keep away. They're just playing keep away. Xiaohao has already started the dragon. I think the answer to that question is no, Jay Beto. NIP have realized that this is a folly of an attempt. They're going to take mid-tier 1, but they're going to give Cloud Soul over to EDG 23 minutes into the game.
Yeah, extremely powerful Soul, super early in the game. I think EDG can easily go towards Baron now. I mean, Hoya has a gold lead. It's significant, but it's nowhere near enough to kill this Siren with a build like this on this Jace. And NIP potentially try to fake a Baron take, but the Hawk shot, well, now they're not faking.
Well, you have to go for it. I think you're not in a great spot. There's that Hawk shot. 10k on the Baron HP. Look how low they all are. This is a big problem. They kick ZDZ away. Guwon's trying to baby driver his way out of there. And EDG will easily push NIP off. But it's Sinyan, the rookie, looking to make a big flank play here. Still hiding out in Fog of War.
Take it. Take the Q. Oh. Very hard for NIP to walk in. I mean, the whole map is dark. They do have a ward on Baron for now, but that will get taken out probably right now. And, I mean, look at the wards. Like, NIP have some decent ones in EDG's side of the jungle, but they have none in their own, and they have none on Baron right now. And realistically, you can't TP behind. We saw what happened earlier with Care. Hoya would be the exact same thing if he tries to TP behind as well. So now you've lost Cloud Soul. You didn't manage to pull like a tempo sneak Baron where you give Soul for Baron, which is not worth it regardless, but you didn't even get it. You got pushed away by this Scion that you absolutely cannot kill yet. We're getting some pen coming through now for NIP, but I don't think it's enough at this point in the game. And EDG still, you know, at that strong mid game. They've got 2 items on Xiaohao working on that GA. Sunyan has 2 items to himself. And for Cassiopeia, for Lucian, I feel like you need more to really run over this game. And even then, I still don't know if you're killing this Scion.
You're really going to need to get your 3rd item ASAP. The problem is EDG know they have the rule of the roost. They're going to go start up this Baron. There are wards, so NIP is going to look to give chase, but it's rapidly dropping below 10k. ZDZ will look to cause a problem for Assum, who's got 3 items, but doesn't really do any damage. Teleport came in, 3,000 HP. Guwon gets locked up, gets kicked away, and Xiaohao is going to head back and secure the Baron. And now ZDZ with a double knock-up, that Breath of Life getting used. Cullen going to go down, but ZDZ tanking it very well, and they cannot finish off the chase because Tibbers doing a lot of damage. EDG want to look for a turn potentially. They have the Baron. They could just walk it out. Sunyan, we're going to take a flank as the teleport's coming in from this Scion. Guwon being tagged by Xiaohao. Will not continue the pursuit quite yet. We'll tag him up again. CDC waddling his way up. There's that encore. Doesn't land, but forces a couple flashes. Guwon trying to get out of range. Tagged up once again. And IP will be able to retreat to the former safety of that tier 2 turret as it gets knocked down.
Really nice kick from Xiaohao. Makes the Dragon secure really easily. I love Sinyan's positioning because he's playing around his pink wards that are in NIP's jungle, so knows that NIP will have no idea where he comes from, and the play isn't to go for a flashy engage and, you know, potentially lose his life. It's just to stop Guwon getting in the pit. He stuns him. Xiaohao flushes over the wall, kicks him away, Qs back. Very well played from Xiaohao. They have the Soul, they have the Baron, and this Baron is nearly linked up with when Elder spawn, so they're going to be able to break open a lot of NIP's base, and then set up a bunch of vision, probably base, and then come back out for Elder. And NIP, it really feels like they haven't even connected to this game. They haven't really done anything.
They are participating for sure, J Meadow. But not much more than that. EDG continue to fight a war on 2 fronts here, on mid and bot. They're going to rip this turret apart while Hoya's getting the job done on the other side, at least trading one back. Middle inhibitor will fall. Will force NIP to need to put a little bit more attention on this mid lane as this gold lead is quickly slipping out of their grasp. It was once 2,500 gold deficit. Now it's near 5,000, and EDG show no signs of slowing down right now as the siege is on the spot tier turret. 5v5 for now. Guwon slams EDZ into the wall. He's going to ult away to be able to survive. Encore goes down only onto 1. Some big tools are down. If there's ever a time for NIP to try to get in there, it's got to be now. But they just don't have the tools.
Yep. NIP for now will repel. Skarner's getting tanky enough to the point where he can get in there, get the grab onto ZDZ, and NIP do enough damage that ZDZ needs to be scared, so he's forced to use his ult defensively to get away. Xiaohao just completed the GA, very scary. But remember, the lead is still only on Lee Sin and Ashe. And Ashe Lucian items as of right now are pretty even. It's 3 apiece, and more pieces of the 4th for Leave, but still only 3 apiece. Baron is just now worn off. And Lee Sin, like I was saying before, doesn't scale super well. This is as strong as a Lee Sin will get in this GA spike. And most of Lee Sin's late game comes from how mechanical you can be, how creative you can be on finding angles to kick people, how slippery you can be.
Leave is frontlining. Lee flashes away, and they found Assum this time around. There's an impale, but it ain't doing that much. Care trying to walk up. He gets knocked up. Hoya finally joins the fight. Care gets cleansed, uses his ultimate, desperately trying to get away from the onslaught of EDG, but ZDZ was on the back line. Hoya gets in there. He gets a kill, but he dies himself, and it's going to be a 4v2. It's just Care and Zhuo. Leave with the ultimate bait. We thought maybe, just maybe, they found him, but no, they turn it around on NIP. They knew that's what they were looking for. The shove is on here. The first Nexus turret will fall. Care and Zhuo can't do a darn thing to ZDZ. Second Nexus turret down. EDG, perhaps inspired by what TT did yesterday, take game one.
Yep. It's a stomp in game one, even. It's not even remotely close. It really felt like NIP didn't have a horse in that race at all. I think the early game for EDG is really scary with the Lee Sin Annie, but the bot lane is definitely contestable with Lucian Milio. You should be able to fight in a matchup like that. But it felt like NIP never really got to take a fight. Their strength was in bot, pushing in top. That 1k lead that Jace was able to get never really mattered. And NIP, you can run into a situation where you end up getting an early lead with something like a Lee Sin Annie and then run out of damage in the late game because you couldn't end the game fast enough. Not a problem in this game. They stack every dragon, they get the Baron, they got Herald, they got 3 grubs. They were going to get Elder as well. NIP didn't even sniff a neutral objective that game.
No, and what did we say had to happen early for NIP? They had to get into the dragons first and leverage the damage that you're going to get from Jace to poke out these champions. And that never happened because they were behind early. We talked about how NIP will sometimes come in with good game plans, but if there's an early disruption, typically in the jungle, it's a problem. There wasn't really a disruption this time around in the jungle, but it happened in the mid lane. The bot lane was bottled up, but this mid lane specifically, Care getting behind was not great. This is a matchup that you are expected to win, and typically he can link up with Guwon and start making plays, and that didn't happen, Jay Beto. As we mentioned before, NIP, they've shown the ability to beat anyone. They have also shown the ability to lose to anybody, and lose to EDG. They did here in this game one. A wonderfully played game by EDG, specifically by Xiaohao. I mean, I thought Leave had a pretty okay game, but Xiaohao was just wire-to-wire great, especially at the end of that play, or end of the game, that last play, putting the exclamation point on the game, kicking Assum into the rest of his team.
Yeah, it's the two sides of the same coin, I guess. Beat BLG and AL, look completely lost against EDG, I guess. Yeah, this bot lane never really got off. Never really made it to the mid lane to get prio for their team. Never really was able to leverage a fight, even early game. And then we didn't have, obviously, enough damage to get through the late game. Very quiet game from Care and Guwon as well. Great game from Xiaohao. Definitely player of the game. I could see an argument for Leave. He did a ton of damage, positioned well, but Xiaohao started that game and he ended that game.
Yeah, 100% kill participation. How could you not, right? Don't just look at the damage charts, although Leave certainly did his thing, and you know, this is something that we talked about. I know you want to talk about this replay, because I mean, whenever you're playing in the early game and you're getting autoed like that and you see the yellow chunks in your health bar, it's bad. You
just can't be getting hit by that Q, or playing. You need to play close to your jungler. Great Ash ult. You can't be dying like that early to a Lee Sin. He's going to gank you. It's a Lee Sin. It's not that crazy of a strategy or something to be ready for. I know that it's hard to say just all 3 lanes play safe, but every one of these highlights for EDG is a Xiaohao highlight. It's just him completely messing around with NIP and not having a care in the world. First blood, the kick flash onto Guwon, and I imagine as we continue to go through, all these highlights are just going to be Xiaohao. This is the one that I missed because I looked away for a second. Q over the wall. Awesome caught. Using barrier. I don't know. I think NIP seem to have come into this game with the Cassiopeia first pick. They had the Lucian Milio answer to the Ashe Seraphine, and then I don't... Okay, I guess... Great ward jump. The idea there was that they think Leave's inting, but he's not. He's baiting really well, and his jungler's around the corner.
They're so used to it. They're like, that's the Leave moment right there, and EDG said, watch this, and to hit him with the Uno reverse card, right? And, you know, if you swap the nameplates on this game for these AD carries, you'd be like, yeah, this is standard Leave gameplay. I think Assum really had a tough time with positioning in this game. Obviously, kind of rough from the start, but that's no excuse. You need to always be on point as an AD carry, or else you are simply going to lose games. I think one of the biggest things that this exposed, Jay Beto, is if you put Guwon on a champion that's kind of going to farm till 6, does have some pre-6 gank ability, but is generally going to wait till he gets his Impale, your lanes really need to win. And they did not have that in this game. I think that NIP are probably going to draft a little bit more carefully moving forward in the series.
And I wanted to talk about... Sorry, we talked about earlier that the Lucian... the Yunara Lulu, not super comfortable for these two teams. Well, for NIP, Assum and Zhuo have played a ton of Lucian Milio. 8 games on Lucian, this split 62.5% win rate. And Zhuo looking pretty good on most enchanters. But to look that uncomfortable in a game where you're on your most played, as it is Xiaohao, but does not scream... It's not a good sign for me, for NIP in this series.
No, not at all. I mean, luckily we're in best of 3s, so you do have best of 5s. You got a long series ahead of you. You need 3 wins in order to get there. So, again, as we've talked about NIP, losing to anybody, EDG can kind of do the same thing. This is a team that we expected to really be the second best team in Group Nirvana, and they fell down to 4th. While they were tied in game score with a lot of these guys, they couldn't really get above 500 in game score. I believe they finished 7-7, right? This is means that you're losing 0-2 or you're playing a lot of 2-1 shape Beto. So this series is a matter of consistency. These teams have left their door open for opponents many times in Split 2. Who's going to consistently get the leads and keep them? In Game 1, it was EDG. We'll see if NIP is able to change their fate in Game 2. Before we go ahead and take a break, we gotta do the begging a little bit here. If you'd like to support the LPL English broadcast, you should really consider becoming a Coffee member, because coffee is the best way to support the LPL English project, because a vast majority of your contributions will go directly into the show. A lot of the initial payments go into upgrading the broadcast, but a large bulk of it pays on-air talent like myself and Jay Beto, and content creators like also sometimes myself and Jay Beto. Subscribe to our Coffee, which will be linked in the chat, and you'll be able to unlock perks like early access to content and the ability to ask interview questions for our unique on-site interviews. But that will do it for the moment. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we return, it'll be Game 2 between NIP and EDG. Don't go